Quick, easy 5-0 win for Barcelona against Young Boys in the Champions League. Their second match for the Champions League, so what, 5-0, and then they lost 2-1, so they're sitting, what, 4 goals up on aggregate, which I think is decent. It was a perfect night, and I can't even say it's because of the result of the match, because let's be honest, you can't get too overly enthusiastic about this win because it's Young Boys. No disrespect. I think most of us would have assumed that Barcelona won by at least 3 goals. There were 2 chances, one actual real chance that Young Boys had the entire match. Barcelona just completely dominated, but the reason why it was a perfect night is because they got their confidence back. It was a great performance all around, and then we got to see Ansu Fati finally back on the pitch for Barcelona. And then finally, Frenkie de Jong. Interesting about Frenkie de Jong, I want to break down his performance and what we saw because I think he might be utilized a little differently this season. So we're going to get into that further along in the video. But what a perfect night. You got to see some great play from Raphinha in particular and Pedri. Lewandowski scored a couple goals. A lot of other opportunities were created. And then the return of Frenkie and Fati. You could ask for a better night. So I want to break all this down. We're going to get into the match, players that stood out to us, and then some of the players returning from injury, what we can expect from them and how they're going to be utilized under Flick and how it was different than before under Xavi and even prior managers before him. If you guys enjoyed this content, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. But let's break down this match with Barcelona. Now, unfortunately, I don't think we can really analyze too much of this match just because I think we all knew Barcelona was going to pretty much dominate the match, which they did. There were only 2 chances that stood out to me. Obviously, towards the end-ish of the match, that one player cut in on his left foot, shot, hit the crossbar. And then in the first half, there was a cross that came in. Wasn't the best marking by Barca or Koundé in particular. The player got the ball, shot with his left foot, and it went wide of the net. Now, it is what it is. Chances are going to happen. But the only complaints I have from Barcelona, besides those 2 chances, Lewandowski was played an absolute dime ball from Pedri through the center of the pitch. He was kind of on a breakaway in the first half, and he took an extra touch or two, ends up losing the ball, doesn't get a shot off. This was like the second or third time a similar situation like this has happened to him this season, and Raphinha, it happened to him a couple times this season too, and again, this match, which we'll talk about. They need to do a better job of getting this ball out underneath their feet and just shoot the ball because you're going to get a deflection. It's going to go out for a corner. You're going to shoot. It could go in. The keeper could save it, and a rebound could come from that. So those were 2 things that I was actually disappointed in. I know the match, it was a great match played, but those little things can actually make a big difference. Raphinha, again, in the second half, was played a perfect ball. I thought he could have taken a touch outside and shot, but instead he tried to do a little too much and ends up losing the ball, doesn't even get a chance to shoot. So those are really my only complaints in the match. But the players that stood out, Pedri he's just fantastic. And honestly, I really like him in that double pivot role because the way he's being utilized, he's able to see the pitch, and he's the composer of the team. He's able to see and pick out these players making these runs and switch the field. And there was a moment where he had like 2 players on him in the first half and was able to twist and turn and dribble out of it, and he played a perfect ball into someone and created a great opportunity. He's so fantastic, and what's funny, I want to talk a little shit for a second because all these Madrid fans were talking shit about Pedri last year. Oh, Jude Bellingham is better than Pedri. Look at the goals. Look at his statistics. Okay, well, first of all, Pedri was injured off and on so much of last season, so he couldn't even get into a groove last year. And then number 2, Jude Bellingham was basically a forward last season. Anybody who says he wasn't is just denying themselves. And now we look at this season, Pedri has more goals than Jude Bellingham. Now, again, it's 2 goals. It's nothing special. But where are the stat merchants then that want to say, oh, stats are the only thing that matter? I just think it's really funny because this whole season, Jude Bellingham will not score much. And Pedri might even score more than Jude Bellingham. And I just want to hear those fans now that are saying Pedri's not as good as Jude Bellingham because he doesn't score as much. Well, look at this season. We'll see what happens afterwards. Now, the other player that stood out was Raphinha. And what I think is really interesting about Raphinha is I'm actually really intrigued to see how they utilize him moving forward when the squad is healthy because, to be completely honest, I actually really like him in that number 10 role because you got to see him drift out to the right a lot and kind of assist with the attack with Lamine Yamal and link up with him. And I think both of those kind of veering in would be really dangerous because you don't know if you have to just, because you can have two guys kind of shadowing Lamine Yamal, but then he can play off of Raphinha and Raphinha could have an open shot to goal. I actually think they're going to utilize him in that way at times. I actually think when Barca is completely healthy at times, they're going to rotate in between Frenkie, Casado, Gavi, and Pedri in that pivot role. But I also think they're going to run Dani Olmo as that left winger at times, give him the freedom and ability to kind of drift inside and give Raphinha the freedom to really just kind of run all over as an attacker. So I think they might utilize him that way, but Raphinha was great. He was all over the pitch. He scored. He created a couple nice opportunities. He should have had another goal in my opinion, but him and Pedri, in my opinion, played well. Lamine Yamal was dancing all over those players on the right side of the pitch the entire night, was beating guys at ease with his skill moves. It's too easy for a 17-year-old, which is crazy. Those 2 and 3 players to me stood out fantastic. But what I want to talk about is there's a couple things. Frenkie de Jong, when he came on, it wasn't, and again, it's really hard to criticize. I'm not even criticize, but it's hard to even evaluate and analyze his performance just because it was so late in the match. They were up so much, but typically we're so used to seeing Frenkie de Jong utilized in such a deep holding role where it was like Barcelona would be utilizing him almost as like a fifth center back at times that was a little higher, obviously, than their other center backs, but they'd get the ball and it seems like he would just slowly be that conductor, but would always just kind of slowly build up and turn this way and that way and play backwards and sideways. Whereas he played pretty high up on the pitch and was almost more so as, I'm not going to say a cam, but played more as an attacking style of midfielder. So I just wonder when Frenkie is in full health and they're going to utilize him more frequently, is Frenkie going to be utilized more in that double pivot role where he's going to be a really deep holding midfielder, or is he going to be utilized more where he kind of has the freedom and they want him to be higher up on the pitch and combine with, Dani Olmo, Lewandowski, Raphinha, etc. That's what I noticed in this match, and I'm eager to hear what you guys think and if they're going to use him that way moving forward. Fati, I didn't really notice much from him, to be completely honest, so there's really no analysis I can give. I'm just happy for him that he was out there. We'll see what he can do. But what I find really interesting is Inigo Martinez has had a pretty good season. I don't think he was, at least last year, I wasn't completely sold on him. I was open to actually selling him this summer. When Araujo comes back, due to Inigo Martinez's, he has more experience than Cabarsi, and he's had a pretty good first half of the season, or at least start to the season so far. I am wondering if Barcelona maybe starts Inigo Martinez and Araujo as the 2 center backs, because obviously Cabarsi's great, but so young and inexperienced. I'm intrigued to see if they maybe utilize those 2 as the starters and then maybe bringing Cabarsi off the bench, or if they start Cabarsi and Araujo once Araujo's fully fit and can go a full 90 minutes, and then Inigo will sub him off towards the end of the match. But that's what I'm really intrigued in. I want to know what you guys have to say about that too. But again, it was, in my opinion, it was a good night. There really wasn't a poor performance around the pitch. I mean, Lewandowski was even dropping deeper at times. He was supporting in the attack. Koundé obviously has been getting better and better every single week at joining up in the attack with Lamine Yamal. Casado is, you can't really say enough about Casado. He's one of those players where you don't really notice him until you notice him. He has such a great work ethic and he'll win tackles, and plays so mature for such a young and inexperienced player. So it's just so great to see this team play so well when their entire starting 11 that they're used to is out there and there's no injuries and they're not playing a man down. Because say what you want about Barcelona, but when their team is entirely healthy and they're playing 11 on 11, there's not a team in the world they cannot beat. This is why I'm so excited to see them play a really solid team like Real Madrid and Bayern Munich later this month, because I think Barcelona is going to have Frenkie de Jong, Gavi, Dani Olmo. They're going to be almost completely healthy minus Araujo and Christensen. And although I think their defense is their weakest point, this healthy or almost healthy team is going to give those 2 teams some difficulty, in my opinion. And the way they're playing and the way they're able to pressure these teams and create so many opportunities from an attacking standpoint so frequently, I think it's going to be an awesome match, and I'm expecting Barcelona to win at least one of those matches. So I can't wait to watch those, and I'm so happy that things are looking up in terms of injuries and players coming back in the squad. So let me know what you guys think about this match. What were your takeaways? I mean, I know you can't really analyze too much in such a domination type of match, but what do you guys think about Fati and Frenkie joining the squad, and especially Frenkie, his role moving forward? Do you expect him to get a lot of playing time? And then what are your thoughts about Barca moving forward and heading into some of these tougher matches like Madrid and Bayern? Do you think with these healthy players back, can they win those matches? Let me know your thoughts down below. I appreciate you guys sticking around and watching this rant. And if you guys like this video, feel free to subscribe. I appreciate your support. And I'll see you guys back here next time on the G Red Show. Peace.